I'm gonna have a geyser shoot off when I come home. Alright, well, if you remember in a previous episode, and I don't remember which one it is, so I'll put it up here when I remember it. We built a geyser out of concrete, cement, sand. We painted it, distressed it, made it look like it had been here for a while. And I have been struggling to make it look real. And if you remember in the previous video, it just looked like a little stream of water. It didn't look real. It didn't have the impact that I was looking for. So I was running it off a garden hose bib, which is regulated pressure. And I thought, well, what if I ran it off of pressure coming from the street? And I have a hydrant that is unregulated pressure. And I gotta tell you, it looks pretty awesome. Now the question is, how do I get unregulated pressure to this geyser so it has that dynamic wow factor? I'm going to show you how. Alright, so it all starts by digging a big hole. Which is exactly what I've done. And I located the water line. We're going to have to splice that line. We are going to run an auxiliary line to a sprinkler valve assembly right here. Well, in order to get this geyser to shoot as high as I want it to, I have had to tap into the main water line before it goes into the regulator, so it's got full street pressure. In order to do that, I'm going to have to run a new water line. I had already run an existing one, as I told you before, and now I have to trench along the driveway and tie into the existing water line up here. So I'm going to start doing that now. Okay, so the existing water line is right here, which makes it really easy for me to tie into. So we're going to tie into this, but I want to build more geyser features here that will encompass this area through here. So I'm going to have to tie that in. I'm gonna have to build that to make it look like I want it to look. Alright, so let me show you the hose line. I don't know that I ever showed that before. I have it buried on the other side, but because I changed the direction that I'm going to pull the water from, I've got to start all over and bury it new. So you can find this at any irrigation store. I believe this is 100 feet. I think that's enough. All right, very rigid. Now's when I really wish that the sun was out, because it'd be a little bit more flexible. So the other thing that we're gonna do for a little extra is use these landscape pins or staples to hold it down even more on top of the dirt that's going on there. There's a couple places that might be a little thin. I probably should try to bury it a little deeper, but I'm tired, and I have a solution for that, and it's called big heavy rocks. So occasionally where I think it's too thin, I'm gonna put a rock on top of it. All right, guys, it's a new day. I have a lot of thinking to do about my geyser. I want to get it to shoot off, not just with a motion detector, but also with a switch. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get the motion detector working. So that's what we're going to do right now. I hooked up the motion detector. Right now it's just kind of laying on the ground, and I finally got it working, but not without help. My neighbor and good friend Ryan, he came to help me. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. I don't know how I mixed it all up, but you got me straight. Thank you. And let me show you what we did. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. We are going to run waterproof box there. We've got the motion sensor running into the waterproof box. The connections will happen there. I'll zoom in here in just a second. You can see it. We're going to run the conduit down. This is direct burial cord, so I'm going to trench and bury that, and let's get this thing wired up so you can see. Okay, so what we need to do here is make the proper connection. So your bare wire is your green with your ground. So I am going to just try to get this started here, twist it together a little bit. Okay. And then we're going to bring the whites together, and you can see we've already started twisting that one. Okay, so now we have to determine the input and the output. The red is going to go, in our case, to this wire here. And the black to the black. All right, we are back at the water valve. As you can see, I've brought the power in here. So what we're going to do is hook up the transformer, and temporarily we're going to run an extension cord here until I run permanent power. So let's get that hooked up. All right, so it doesn't matter if there's no polarity on this valve here. These are the wires that are going to the sprinkler valve. And I think I'm going to make a much nicer connection than what I've got right here. More waterproof, obviously, but I'm doing this for the test so I can show you guys what it looks like. Okay, we have that valve connected. Now, we're going to set this in here. Once again, I'll have all this waterproofed. We're going to grab this end of the cable. And then we're going to drop the extension cord in through the top. We have power to this. Okay, now let's see what we got. All right, well, I've got this set up on a 6-second interval because I think that's plenty of water shooting up. If you notice, there is a motion detector right there. So we're gonna start moving as if we're driving up the driveway. And if you look right about there, you're gonna see a geyser go off. There it goes. That's the geyser. 6 seconds, just enough to announce that someone has come. Okay, so I'm going to show you the geyser at night. Oh, that's funny. Well, guys, I've got a geyser. Every time you walk by, every time a car comes, I'm loving this. Never grow up. See you guys. Thanks for watching.